Welcome to The Explainer. This is where we decompile the source code behind the biggest stories in tech. All right, let's get right into this, because today we're talking about something bigger than the usual gadget wars. We're looking at a new kind of invisible conflict, a war over the very foundation of our digital world. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take 6 events that, on the surface, look completely unrelated, and we're going to connect the dots. By the end, you'll see how they all tell one single story, a global infrastructure war that is absolutely going to define the next decade of technology. Okay, so to really get this, we have to kind of shift our thinking. The battle isn't about the phone in your pocket anymore, or the console under your TV. Not really. It's about who controls the massive, invisible server farms that power your entire life. All right, let's jump to our first battleground. This is where the military-industrial complex just officially fired the first shot in what's becoming a full-blown AI arms race. Okay, so look at this. This shows a massive decision the Pentagon just made. On one side, you have Anthropic. They had these strict ethical red lines, right? They refused to build AI for mass surveillance or, killer robots. And what happened? The Pentagon terminated their contract. Gone. Then, in the very next breath, they signed this hyper-classified deal with OpenAI. And for what? To put their models on top-secret military networks. So let's be clear, this isn't just swapping one contractor for another. This is a statement. The Pentagon just chose raw, deployable power over any ethical hand-wringing. You gotta ask yourself, though, why? Why would these brilliant AI companies even want these military contracts? It seems like a strange move, right? Well, it all comes down to one single massive factor: money. Specifically, the astronomical cost of building what we call artificial general intelligence. I mean, think about it. Building these almost godlike AIs is just outrageously expensive. You need massive server farms. The electricity bills are insane. Even the biggest tech companies are feeling the pinch. And that's where military budgets come in. They are, for all intents and purposes, a source of infinite capital. So for these AI companies, the choice becomes pretty stark. Do you stick to your ethical guns, or do you do what it takes to keep the servers running? With this OpenAI deal, the starting gun for the AI arms race has officially been fired. There's no going back. Now, this whole infrastructure war, it's not just happening in the shadows with the military. It's playing out right in front of us, in the consumer space. And it's pitting 2 of the biggest companies in the world against each other, with 2 totally different game plans. First up, you've got Apple. Let's be honest, they're playing catch-up in the AI race. So what's their move? Well, if you can't win on software, you double down on what you do best: hardware. They're unleashing this relentless barrage of absolutely flawless new products. We're talking at least 5 new devices hitting the market in just a few days. And they're not just any devices. They're building things like the new iPad Pro with the M4 chip. This thing is a monster. It has processing power that is so far beyond what its own software can even do right now. And that's the whole point. Their entire strategy is to basically put a data center in your pocket, to run these complex AI models entirely offline, right there on your device. And this is where their strategy gets really brilliant. Check this out. They are already mass-producing 2-nanometer chips for an iPhone that won't be out for over a year. What they're doing is building these beautiful, powerful golden cages. They want to lock you into their ecosystem with hardware so good you can't leave, all to buy themselves precious time while their AI software catches up. Okay, so while Apple is building this hardware fortress, you'd think Google would be having a field day, right? I mean, they're the undisputed king of cloud AI. But it's not that simple. They're finding out just how terrifyingly difficult it is to bring all that powerful cloud AI into the real world and onto our devices. So here's the deal. Google has had to hit the brakes on fully integrating its Gemini AI right into the Android operating system. And you have to wonder, why? It's because putting a creative, unpredictable AI in control of your phone's basic functions is just incredibly risky. I mean, think about it. You can't have your phone's AI hallucinate and decide to email your ex at 3 a.m. It's a total system-level trust nightmare. All right, so let's shift gears a bit and see how this exact same battle, this infrastructure war, is playing out in the world of gaming. Because you've got the 2 biggest console makers on the planet taking completely opposite sides. So on one side, you have Microsoft. They've basically admitted they can't win the hardware race against Sony. So what do you do when you can't win the game? You change the stadium. They've put an AI executive in charge of Xbox, and their whole goal now is to make Xbox an app, a cloud service that runs on every screen you own. They're retreating from the physical hardware battle to fight in the cloud, which is a place Sony really can't compete. Sony, on the other hand, is doing the exact opposite. They are doubling down, perfecting their hardware fortress. They're using this incredible AI-powered tech called PSSR. Now, this isn't AI on the cloud. This is AI working right on the silicon in your living room to create graphical magic. It literally predicts what the game is trying to draw and then reconstructs the image with stunning clarity. We're talking graphics that would normally need a crazy expensive gaming PC happening right there on your PlayStation. But here's the twist. While these giants, Microsoft and Sony, are locked in this epic battle over infrastructure, cloud versus silicon, a challenger has just walked into the ring with a completely different and almost disarmingly simple weapon. And what is that weapon? Is it cutting-edge tech? No, it's pure, simple fun. A new Pokemon Life Sim with none of the fancy 4K graphics or ray tracing has just absolutely exploded at the top of the pre-order charts. It's kind of proving that maybe, just maybe, the market is getting tired of this tech arms race. This is classic Nintendo genius right here. They're cashing in on what you might call resolution fatigue. While everyone else is spending billions on making things look real, Nintendo is focused on perfecting simple gameplay that costs a fraction to make. They're not just selling hardware, they're selling a whole ecosystem that's safe, nostalgic, and just fun. It goes to show that mastering user psychology can be way more profitable than mastering silicon engineering. So, what's the big takeaway here? When we put all these pieces together, the Pentagon, Apple, Google, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, what's the big picture that emerges from all these separate battles? What it means is that we are in a massive, blindingly fast transition. We're moving out of the era of consumer hardware, where the fight was about which shiny new device you'd buy. We are now entering the era of strategic infrastructure. The real war, the one that truly matters now, is for control of the massive, invisible platforms that run our entire lives. And you know who's going to win this new war? It's going to be the ecosystem that can predict your behavior perfectly and seize total control over your data. So that leaves us with one last, really crucial question to think about. In this war between the all-powerful invisible cloud and the beautiful tactile glass you hold in your hand, who are you going to let win?